What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So today we're going over the loadout of Revenant Prime and the Felarx. We'll be showing some big damage and how you can replicate it. Also showing Revenant against level like 10,000 enemies on the Steel Path. So if you're looking to get into those high-level missions, maybe run them with me on stream, this is going to be a video for you, things to work towards in the end. I do lots of Warframe streams with high-level Steel Path missions, so come stop by if you want to join in. Also, make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, build videos like this quite often. Alright, let's get right into it. So I've made plenty of Revenant build videos on my channel, but this one actually is quite a nice little change from the previous ones I've been doing, and also it's quite easy to get very high damage. So we're going to go quickly show how this works. So I'm going to spawn in some enemies. And the thing we're doing here is from before is we're actually using the Felarx shotgun from Zariman to get extremely big numbers. I've also got a mod called Thrall Pact on here. Every mind control enemy gives me increased primary damage, and the Felarx is a primary. So the more enemies I mind control, the more extra damage I get, and it caps out at 7 mind controlled targets. With this build, 444% extra primary damage. Now, of course, that is going to go up if you have more power strength. Right now, we're not fully multi-augmented. So with that buff, we can basically just punch through enemies with really big damage. That's with no galvanized stacks. One galvanized stack is going to be about a 3-shot. You throw on some viral proxy enemy, it's going to be an easy 1-shot, no armor strip. You throw an armor strip, and yeah, 49 million. So you could expect even bigger numbers from that over the course of a mission as you stack up and up and up. So that's going to be the idea of today's video, showing you how you can do this stuff, all the builds and all that. And by the way, you're basically invincible. I didn't even need to pause these guys. I can kill all these enemies with unpaused AI because that's how ridiculously powerful Revenant Prime is. We just jump into these enemies. Oh, they're still paused. We just jump into these enemies when they're unpaused. We face tank all the damage because they overtuned his 2. And we can actually just make them fight each other. So we don't even need to use weapons. We can just use Revenant's third ability, Reeve, to insta-kill them if we feel like it. This is the most powerful frame in the game, honestly. When I make my Warframe tier list, guess who's going to be S tier? No questions asked. This guy right here. So we'll be going over the builds and all that for the CO procker and the like. We'll also be showing focus and operator amps. So let's get into the build. First, we'll start from the top and work our way down. So with Revenant Prime, the frame, we have casting speed shards. Now, I know I've put different shards in the past, but we've got 4 amber casting speed shards to make we can cast Mesmer Skin, recast Mesmer Skin as fast as possible. And we've got 1 parkour velocity shard. For some of these really high-level endurance missions, you want to get from point A to point B as fast as possible to like activate the next Exalizer, activate the next disruption node, etc., etc. So I would maybe want to put some more parkour velocity on Revenant in the future. Do keep in mind that parkour velocity does not affect Reeve. I believe only sprint speed affects that, and there is no sprint speed Archon shards. Moving into the build, we have Tharo Strike from Styanax on here, which will make it where, as long as we have 200% power strength or more, we will fully remove enemy armor and shields as long as they're hit by the cast of this ability. It's very good for high-level missions, very good for Demolist, very good for Thrax, etc., etc. It does not work on some enemies. I don't think it works like an Eidolon, but this is not an Eidolon build at all. So the big thing here that I've changed from my previous Revenant video is we've added on Thrall Pact, so now we have 2 augment mods. So you have the augment for his 1 and the augment for his 2. And then we've also got Vigorous Swap on here. I used to have the range mod Stretch here instead, but you know, we just threw on Cutting Drift in the top slot. It should be enough range, honestly. So what this will do is that when I swap weapons, I will get a massive damage buff. That actually is combined with our holster amp we were using in the previous build as well for massive damage on swapping weapons. And since this build is very synergistic today, you will be swapping weapons a lot, and you will be rewarded for it. So that's going to be the idea of this. We're getting big damage from Thrall Pact, big damage from Vigorous Swap and Holster Amp, and we've got Armor Strip from Tharo Strike. So we can basically deal with anything with our primary. Everything else on here is basically just duration and strength, and a little bit of prime flow, just so we can make sure we cast our abilities constantly. As now that we have Thrall Pact, we will be casting our 1 more often, but do keep in mind, these zombies can actually infect other enemies to make them zombies too. So you don't need to like manually cast on every single enemy. Keep in mind, too, the damage buff of the primary damage will go up with power strength. So once multi-augmented is fully stacked up, you'll be looking at like 600% extra primary damage. So keep that in mind. Also, for a team setting, we've got Mesmer Shield, which gives us extra Mesmer Skin strength and also gives our teammates Mesmer Skin if they're nearby us when we cast it. So, very nice there. And since you're playing Revenant, you don't need any Prime Sure-Footed. So, put whatever Exilus mod you want up there. You could go Power Drift for like one more Mesmer Skin stack, but I'm going to go with Cunning Drift for more range on Tharo Strike. Molt Augmented and Arc Energized to make sure we always are having our energy and always getting big strength because we're going to be overkill on strength. You want a lot of power strength on Revenant. Moving on to the Felarx. I have never made a full video on the Felarx, so we're going to be going over my build I use on the Felarx and talking about some problems I have with this build. So the way this works, it's a very powerful generic shotgun. If you transform it into Incarnon mode, it's like a Arcaplasma or pistol kind of, but it's got less DPS, so just stick with the normal mode. Our Incarnon choices are going to be Frictionless Flight. Now, hilariously, one of the options for this tier is going to be increased accuracy. The accuracy stat on shotguns is terrible. The accuracy stat on shotguns will make one pellet accurate. The other pellets will not be accurate like at all. So go with projectile speed or reduce recoil. The accuracy one's also only while aiming too. So yeah, I might test it out more in the future, but I've been using this one for a while. It works great. Now, big choice here. We've gone with Evolved Auto Loader. Auto reloads the magazine while holstered. You might be seeing some of the synergy I'm going for here now. Auto reload 50% of the magazine while holstered, and then we had all those swap mods on our build. So what we're going to do with this Evolved Autoloader, we're going to expend some ammo. We're going to swap to our other weapon. When we swap back to the Felarx, we will have our gun automatically reloaded. No manual reloads required, and it will have a massive, massive damage buff. That is a crucial part of this synergy loadout today. Is going to be Evolved Autoloader. Now it does chew through a lot of ammo, so we'll show the build in a second, but it's something you can definitely use. We've got Racking Wrath, giving increased status chance of minus crit, and I'm sure if you've seen the Felarx before, you know why I'm doing that. The final evolution is called Devastating Attrition, a 50% chance to deal 2,000% extra damage on non-critical hits. So we're trying to get our critical chance as low as possible. That's why you're going to be wanting to hunt down a minus critical chance Riven. Now, showing the build, just be aware this is not exactly a new player build. We have almost every mod as a prime mod, and actually in the end, I'd probably put an Amalgam of Shotgun Barrage here instead to res people faster. So, what we got here, we got a Viral Electric build, and it's actually Bane of the Grenier. You might be like, why are you running ammo stock? Because, as I stated earlier, we'll be swapping weapons quite often, and 50% of the magazine when you have a 13-round magazine versus if you didn't have this on here, it'd be a 6-round magazine. You'll be reloading 3 ammo every second. So ammo stock is very nice on here. Now, if you feel like you are chewing through too much ammo at high levels, you might want to take it off for maybe another damage mod like Vigilante Armament or something. But yeah, as you can see right here, everything is a prime mod basically. And on my Riven build, there's not enough room. I can't even put Amalgam Shotgun Barrage on there because there's not enough room. And I can't even max out my prime shotgun ammo mutation. So we have a mod drain issue, even though I have every slot polarized. So I don't know, DE. Is this how it's supposed to be? If you have a Riven, you literally can't fit the whole build on here. But yeah, Viral Electric, as we are armor removing the enemies, and electric procs are pretty decent. This is the no Riven setup. Basically the same exact thing as mine, but instead of Toxic Barrage, I've got this Riven with Cold, Toxin, minus crit chance. Not even a good Riven, honestly. You could just do the exact same thing with no Riven at level 10,000. Primary Deadhead, as we have so much damage buffs, this multiplier on the headshots will be very helpful. And the rest is going to be, like, at high levels, you are chewing through a lot of ammo. I'd say one of the weaknesses of this build is how much ammo you chew through. Shotgun ammo mutation, very nice. Galvanized Savvy, we're going to be using the compressor to get some procs on the enemies. This will make it where we're doing lots of extra damage, and they have tons of procs on them. Prime Chilling Grasp and Prime Charge Shell, as much elemental damage as possible. These are primed mods that take a lot of drain and have a big, big chunk of damage. And remember, all this stuff will be getting multiplied by the Devastating Attrition, or what it's called, at the end. Your Bane mod of choice, so we're fighting against the Grenier, so we put on the Grenier Bane, etc., etc. And why do I have Amalgam Shotgun Barrage? It lets us just have better DPS. Since we're holstering to auto-reload the weapon all the time, so I'll just show you how this works. So, let's say there was a... Actually, we'll just pause and I'll show you. So, let's say I was like engaging this enemy right here. I would go with my secondary procer, proc them up, swap immediately, and then go there. It's swap again. The gun is reloaded, so I'm never actually manually reloading this thing ever, and I'm getting massive damage buffs. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, I'm getting orange crits right now. That's because of my Smina Kavat. One of the abilities of Smina Kavat gives you guaranteed orange crits, and as I showed earlier, on non-critical hits, we have a 50% chance for 2,000% extra damage. So that's honestly a debuff. When the cat gives you that a buff, it's a debuff, and that is unfortunate. But yeah, moving on, we have the Compressor. Now, you could use the Epitaph if you want to, but the reason I'm using the Compressor here is because it has no built-in cold, unlike the Epitaph, which has built-in cold. Those cold procs will make Thrax enemies turn to Ghost a lot slower, which is unfortunate. This is going to be giving you, I think it has built-in Viral, so you have Viral, Corrosive, and Heat, very good for debuffing, but they'll be fully armor stripped anyway. But yeah, the big thing here is Secondary Encumber. On Status Effect, gives you a chance to get an extra random Status Effect, and a multi-shot Riven in the Compressor has a very high stats, 183% extra multi-shot. We get lots and lots of procs, just from like half a second on the target, if that. So yeah, very nice here, but you can use whatever CO proc or choice you prefer. This is more single target than like an Epitaph, but it's a little bit more multi-target like a Tysus. So I'd recommend it, but yeah, the Epitaph is still totally fine if you don't have the Compressor or don't want to use the Compressor. Oh yeah, I'm on the DPS build. Same thing over here. I use the DPS build for level 10,000, but I don't think I got a single kill with this thing, so really gonna be up to you. And the Glaive Prime was not really used in the footage that much. Let's actually get that footage on the screen. It's just my standard Glaive Prime build with my Riven. If you don't have a Riven, just throw on like Prime Pressure Point in that slot. It should be hopefully somewhat similar. So, getting into the gameplay footage here, we are going to be on the Steel Path Void Cascade. And the big thing here is that Revenant is invincible. I have another Revenant player on my team for good reason. Revenant is great for high-level endurance missions, as his Mesmer skin is, it doesn't have a damage cap, unlike Rhino. Rhino might be able to face tank like, a million damage, but when these enemies are dealing like multiple 100,000, maybe not multiple 100,000, they will chew through Rhino's armor eventually. On Mesmer skin, they won't. They just won't. As long as you can recast it, they will never, ever get through your Mesmer skin. Even if you're actually looking at another screen on the side. If you're surrounded by level 5,000, 10,000 enemies, they will not kill you. As long as you are paying attention once every 25 seconds. So Revenant is just blatantly the strongest as far as the tank is concerned. Yeah, if you want an easy time to a level 10,000, here you go. This kind of build will be great for you. I am going to show you the amp and all that stuff at the end here. But yeah, the main thing is that you want to swap weapons constantly as this build. And also, you want to be dropping procs on the enemies quite often, too. Now, you might see right here, I'm almost out of energy. Energize is quite nice when you're surrounded by Thrax and high-level enemies like this. Now, I did also start trying out the 177 amp again. I was kind of off the 177 amp for a while because they made it where Ghost Thrax are no longer affected by Maga's lockdown. I did it last night. It was actually kind of fine. As long as you are able to preemptively shoot them as they're turning into a Ghost Thrax. The second they're damageable, that's when you have to basically headshot them with the 177 to get good results out of it still. Or you can wait until the Ghost Thrax is trying to possess an enemy and then shoot them in the head. But yeah, the 777 is just easier, but I might stick with the 177. We'll see. Yeah, this is great for Disruption, great for Void Cascade. Now, one of the things you don't really have is an Acolyte slaying weapon with this loadout. The Glaive Prime can handle that, but also, other weapons are better than the Acolytes. So maybe have an elite on-call crew member to do this if you do see an Acolyte, but it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. So you can definitely shred. Now, I don't think my Felarx build is being one-shotting. So how about some alternatives here, okay? So maybe you don't have Tharos Strike. Another very good helmet ability for level 10,000s is actually going to be Zata's Whisper from Zaku. It works very well with the Felarx special evos, but the only problem is that you won't have any armor strip. I'll just let you know that I've actually found from my experience with Zata's Whisper on the Felarx, you don't even need any armor strip most of the time. But if you do want to bring armor strip along, you can maybe go with the Vastalock with Shattering Impact. Not going to call that very efficient, but it is something you technically could do. Here's a Thrax right here. Now the Overguard is going to be a little bit annoying. That's why we have the Felarx and big viral damage. But yeah, if the Thrax is jumping around like that and you have to get headshots in the first place, it can be a little bit annoying. So yeah, that's going to be basically it for the video, guys. If you found this fun and helpful, I didn't show the operators. If you found this fun and helpful, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can know when I put these videos up. Now, as far as the operator stuff, for Cascade, it's pretty much only Matter-Eye, to be honest. You have to have Matter-Eye for Cascade, or you're just not going to hold up DPS-wise. So we've got Matter-Eye, Focus Tree. The biggest abilities here are Contamination Wave, and I guess technically Void Strike. Yeah, Void Strike, you can use this in Cascade, but you only really need Contamination Wave. Second ability emits a Void Wave lasting 2 seconds that drenches the enemy in Void Contamination, making them 50% more vulnerable to operator damage. It makes them basically get one shot, so that's what you need to get. And as far as the amp, I don't know if I can show you the amp stuff here, but the amp I have is the Replock Prism, the Certus Brace, and the Propa Scaffold. That's the one I've used for a while for like Void Angel slaying. But I don't know, the Probo just doesn't feel as good nowadays, so I might end up changing that to like the 7 scaffold in the future. Our Operator Arcanes are going to be Magus Melt and Magus Lockdown. No healing Arcanes needed, as health is not meta right now. And also we've got Eternal Eradicate, Eternal Onslaught. This will give us big damage when we are using our amp. So that's going to be the entire loadout, guys. Hope you found the video fun and helpful. It's very similar to my old Revenant videos, but yeah, a couple things we did change. More holster damage, and also, Thrall Pack. Thrall Pack is a ton of extra damage. And yeah, Count Kirby dies a lot in missions, so don't bring him unless you just want to revive him 20 times. That's why I got Amalgam Shotgun Barrage, to res this cat. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you on stream tonight, and take it easy. Peace!